All right. Hello, everyone. So today we're going to talk about finding exponential equations. So just like it says on here, sometimes we need to find the equation of a function, but we only have the graph or table. So it's usually when you only have the data and you need to figure out like what's going on with that data. So like I was talking about our COVID infection rate. You could see like in a graph like what's going on, but you have to do some math to figure out like what that actual function is. So that's what we're going to try and do today. We only got 3 steps to these, so let's go through those. Step 1, create a table by taking points from the graph. So we have a graph below. It has the population growth of rabbits on a farm. So we got months at the bottom, we got rabbits on the side. So we also have our table over here with the same markings. Our months are already done for us, so that's real nice. We just need to fill in the rabbits. So taking a look at what we have, got this graph, let's see, 0 months. At 0 months, that's right here, we have 2 rabbits. So I'm going to put in a 2. Let's see, at 1 month, we have 4 rabbits. Probably actually write it in there. There we go. At 2 months, we have 8 rabbits. And then at 3 months, we have 16 rabbits. Cool. Table formed. Table is made. We are good. All right, let's move on to the next step. It says step 2, using the table, find the initial value and ratio. So I'm just going to break these up. We got our initial value over here and our ratio over here. So initial value is just going to be when our x is equal to 0, or our y-intercept, or the starting point. So wherever you're starting should be at 0. So let's look at our table. Let's see, at 0, we're starting at 2 rabbits. Same thing here. So our initial value will be 2. That is where we're starting at. So initial value, 2. Cool. Let's look at the ratio next. So a ratio in our case is going to be how much the function is multiplied by every step. So we just need to figure out, looking at our table, how much it's increasing by every month. So looking at our table here, what we can do is just take a look at the rabbits. That's the only part we need. So we need 2 that are next to each other. We're going to deal with our 2 and our 4. To see how much it's increased by or what it's multiplied by, we can just take that bottom number, 4, and divide it by the top number, 2. Now 4 divided by 2 is going to be 2. Let's find out the next one. So we got 8 and 4. I'm going to do 8 divided by 4. We get 2 again. And then 16 divided by 8, we should get 2 again. So for every step that we take, we should be multiplying by the same number. So with that, we know our factor is, or our ratio is going to be 2. But I really want to be explicit here and say that you are taking a couple, you are taking 2 that are right next to each other. If you take 2 and 16, that is not going to work. No, you have to take 2 that are right next to each other. And you are dividing your bottom number by the top number. It can't go the other way around. You have to have 4 divided by 2. It will not work the other way. Okay, so just be careful. All right, but anyway, we just said our factor was 2, or our ratio was 2. So that's what we are going to put down here where it says ratio, we got 2. Okay, that was our step 2. So now we need to find our step 3. Step 3 says plug the initial value and the ratio into the formula. So here's our formula. It's usually a times b to the x power. In this case, our a will be our initial value. And our b is going to be our ratio. So let's see. Our initial value is 2. And our ratio is 2 as well. This is not how it works every single time. This was on accident. I did not mean to make these both the same number. It will not be the same number every time. Usually it's not. So that was my bad, but just keep that in mind that these two numbers are usually different. We get them from different places. We got our initial value from our y-intercept right here. That's what told us that. And we got our ratio from up here. So just don't forget that. These come from two different places, okay? All right. And that is our equation. So this is what all of our equations are going to look like. They should have a y equals our initial value times our ratio to the x power. Unless we're adding something on, but we're not doing that here. Okay, so what I had the people do in class was just finish the rest of these questions. I'm going to do the first one with you, and I'm going to do the third one with you. So I'm going to do this one and this one, just so you could kind of see what's going on. So let's do the first question. All right, it says, the graph below shows decay of a glacier. All right, so we could see it's decaying, it's going down. All right, we got years at the bottom. We have mass in gigatons on the side. Also on our table, we have the years, and on the side we have mass. Great. So we just need to fill in the mass for this. So I'm going to start with 0, because that's where we're starting here. So I got 0, 0's down here, so we're going to go all the way up. Looks like we hit 900. So I'm going to go 900. All right. Then we need 1. At 1 year, we're at 600. Okay. At 2 years, we're at 400. And then at 3 years, we're at, I don't know exactly where that is. It's between 300 and 200, but I don't have an exact match for that. So what I'm going to do for this one is just kind of skip these last ones until the end. And you'll see why, because it doesn't exactly work if you don't know exactly what your numbers are. You have to have exact points, but all of these don't have that. So let's just skip ahead and let's start finding our initial value and our ratio so that we can make this equation. So let's see. Our equation is supposed to go y equals our initial value. Okay, so where do we start at? 0 is at 900, and we can confirm that on our graph. So we got y equals 900. And then let's find our ratio. Okay, so let's see. We got 900 and 600. So I want to do 600 divided by 900. Remember, you don't want it to go the other way. It has to go from bottom to top. The bottom divided by the top. Okay, so I'm putting that in my calculator, and I should get 0.666 on forever. I'm just going to round that to a 7. Okay, that's a little weird, but fine. Let's check the other one. We got 400 divided by 600. Calculator says that should be 0.66667 again. Okay, so our ratio is going to be 0.667. I'm going to put that in my equation here. And then I'm going to put that to the x power. So what I want to point out here is that we could find the rest of our table by plugging in our x's here. We could do that for every single one and find what our table is. Or we could just take the number above it and multiply that by our ratio to get the next number. So then we could be exact. Now, it's not going to come up a lot, so that's why I'm kind of glossing over it right now, but I just want to let you know that that is an option. Okay. So another thing I wanted to point out is that we can tell that this is the correct ratio by looking at our graph. So if you remember, back in our other notes, we said that our B, or our base, will show us if we're growing or decaying. For us, our base is going to be 0.66. Now, since this is less than 1, we are going to decay. And we can obviously see that in our graph here. So just wanted to point that out. But that is how we did number 1. Okay, let's go on to number 3. So difference between 1 and 3 is going to be that we do not have a graph for number 3. They just already start us out with a table. So we just need to find our equation. We got y equals our initial value. Okay, initial value here, x is 0 when y is 4. Okay, so initial value should be 4 times our ratio. So let's find that. We got 4 and 12. So I want 12 divided by 4. Well, that's going to be 3. I want 36 divided by 12. That's also 3. And then 108 divided by 36 should also be 3. Remember, all of these should be the same. If they are not, something went wrong. Okay, so our ratio is 3. So I'm going to plug that into my equation, and then I'm going to put that to the x power. This is going to be your answer. So you're just finding your pieces and plugging them in. That is all. Okay, so I'm leaving the rest to you. You got 2, 4, 5, and 6 left. So you can do those for practice. I have also posted practice in Teams, so there is that as well. If you have any questions, please let me know, and I'll see y'all later. Bye.